It didn't take much more than a bottle and 2 chairs to make a speakeasy. This is what Daniel Okrent said in his book, Last Call, The Rise and Fall of Prohibition. Today, join us for some stories. Get your own bottle, glass, or mug, and relax. This is Speak Easily, and I'm your host, Krista Stoffer.
Are you in a sauna?
No, I actually, so can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I actually, in the midst of the pandemic, we had joked around about it, but I built a shed in our backyard and it is now my studio office space.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. We joked all about it. And then I was like, no, I'm doing it.
That is lovely. I wish we were driving by one of those outdoor, oh gosh, this is great. I'm describing it so well so far, but where they sell sheds that you can buy, pre-made sheds. So I just told my husband, we're just going to get one of those and I'm going to live in it and not tell the children that I live in it. So maybe they won't come out and see. That is brilliant.
Well, the kids asked for permission. They're like, can we go out in the studio? And it's like, sorry, no, not right
adults
now.
Only.
No. And it has a skylight up here.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, it's really nice. Well, it came in a million pieces, kind of IKEA style, but
the
it was
IKEA
from Germany.
Shed, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So it came from Germany, and my dad drove out in the summer, and we put it together, and here it is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's a tiny space heater going, so if that sound messes with us, I'll turn it off.
No, you're fine. Yeah. You're fine. Yeah, I was gonna ask, you put electricity in it and everything?
Yeah, so there's electric because it's right next to our garage. So our backyard basically looks like a bunch of little houses. It's right next to our garage, so we're able to run the electric straight from the garage into the tiny shed here. So yeah.
Nice.
But yes, it does look like a sauna, but it is not warm. It is not warm.
The cold sauna. No. I mean, people use cold therapy, right?
Yeah, right. I'm sure it's a thing. And there's an alleyway right here. So, every now and again, I am startled back into reality that there are cars and trash cans right next to me. So yeah, it's good.
Right.
It's good.
I was telling my husband today, I said, I'm going to record a podcast at 11. He's like, well, I'll tell the kids to be quiet. I was like, we're recording a podcast with people who all have children. I mean, guaranteed there's going to be some sort of background noise. So
I have trolls going in the background in my house right now. So I had to run off and turn the volume down a little bit because it was hot. So yeah.
No, we've hit what do you mean there's no more presents part of December? Because things kept coming from relatives. And so this morning they were like, what do we do now? It's like, you play with the things that you got.
How old are yours?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh. Sorry, we froze for a second. Sorry. Yeah. How old are mine? 7 years old and 3. So.
Oh, your hands are full. Yeah. I mean, good old pandemic.
It's fine.
Now, are they? Is the 7 year? Yeah. I'm trying to understand. You mean it's fine or it's fine?
It's fine. Yeah. I am at school every day. So I go to school every day, but my daughter, who's 7, is in Columbus City schools. So she's at home all day, and yep. So, and my wife was able to change things, and she's at home with her. And thankfully, Ari, the 3-year-old, goes to daycare. So, yes. When he's not being quarantined, he's at daycare. Yeah. So.
Ben's got the same thing.
I do. Well, ours daycare this week got cut short because a COVID case happened in her classroom. So we've had a little one here with us, hence the trolls going on in the background right now. So,
I thought you were just watching it for fun, Ben.
I do like this movie. It is a fun movie. The second one was not as good, but yeah, it's a good movie. There are worse.
Oh, there's much worse. I lost 2 hours of my life to Alvin and the Chipmunks Chipwrecked. That was the worst I've seen.
Yikes. Yeah,
It was bad.
a few like that we watched. There was a Lego Star Wars holiday special that came out this past year that was not.
Was it good? Oh,
not like the Star Wars holiday special was bad in like the right kind of way. This was like we watched it and my son was like, I loved it. That was awesome. And we're like, not again.
Can't get those hours back.
My kids have learned. Oh no, my kids have learned that I have certain standards, and so they'll say, "Can we watch that movie when Daddy's not home?" And like, so now there's like a growing list, and it's like, well, at least it's identified, like we all know. So
that's really smart. Well, I know. Forgive me, please. Sorry, everybody. I'm not a Marvel movies fan, so they watch them with my husband. And in pre-COVID days, he would take them to the theater. So I had like this lovely 3.5 hour do whatever I want with nobody around time. And now they're here and they watch Marvel movies. So I'm once again jealous of your shed.
Which hopefully my internet connection works pretty okay. Does it seem to be fine?
Inside of your shed. Can
okay.
Yeah, I want to see.
Yeah, give us a tour. We need a tour.
So simple shelves.
Nice.
It's really not that big. It's actually very small. There's not much in it. There's the skylight.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
And I'm like super jealous of that.
No.
Well, the thing is that like I'm an artist and an art teacher, right? So I'm a hoarder to the max. So that's our basement. So I've been very careful as to like bringing things out here because I don't want to turn it into like a garbage dump, right? So yeah.
Is there a thing like shed envy? Because we've got serious shed envy right now. Are the doors behind you? Is that what that is?
Yeah, and then they open like wide. So
when you leave, you can like swing the doors wide and survey your land.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, because the original plan was to make it so it like looked out into the yard. But then once we started putting it together, we're like, actually, there's a giant tree right there. So it actually, when I open it, it's like right at the fence of an alleyway. So it's like, so,
that's all right.
It's perfect because it's tucked in here. But I'm actually, I'm starting to work on this for this digital magazine for art teachers. And one of the articles I'm writing for this month is on like making a space for like creating and teaching. And so it's going to be like, welcome to my tiny shed. Now, let's talk to other people that have done something similar.
So that's amazing.
Too, because like my wife and I for a couple of years have been on a rabbit hole of tiny homes, like especially on YouTube, like the tiny home movement and like the schoolie movement in particular. Like we're really big schoolie fans. That's my retirement plan, is like to buy a school bus, turn it into a mobile home, and then just drive everywhere and live off grid and everything. But yeah,
live off the fat of the land.
Well, I will say that there was a tiny shed house at the end of our street. We live in Clintonville. And there was one at the end of our street that they were renting out on like Airbnb. Genius, right? They were like, but one night recently, a couple weeks ago, it caught on fire. And burned to the ground. Yeah. And so I had already I'm super aware, even in our own house, I unplug things all the time. It's kind of a pet peeve of everyone else I live with. But so I always unplug like the light, the space heater, not just off, like I unplug
like
when I leave.
Why won't the TV
last thing
turn on? Dad, did you unplug the television? What? Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
Why is the breaker box not working anymore? Yeah.
My parents used to turn off their computers by unplugging them from the wall. Like didn't power it down first. They just hard unplug that bad boy. And yeah, it's barbaric.
It's funny you mentioned the tiny house thing. So I found, you reach a point during a pandemic where you're like, I'm done. I got to get out of here for a couple of days and like not see anybody. So we found a tiny house. Gosh, where was it near? It was like Portsmouth area. So it was a little bit far down there, but it was the coolest little thing. I went all by myself. I did nothing. I mean, I binge watched and I built a fire. I did nothing. And it was the most amazing 2 days. But the problem is that they had the stairs going up to the loft bed. The stairs were like, it was a good probably 2.5, 3 feet to get up the stairs. So, I mean, stone cold sober, you're like sliding your butt up those things not to fall down. It was a little scary. Like, this is how I die, is in stairs in the little house. Ben says no. Oh, he's parenting. Sorry.
A toddler thing. Sorry.
Oh, you're
I
fine.
thought you were disagreeing. No, we don't understand that at all, Ben.
Well, and then for a brief
He
moment,
likes to come up
I
and
could-
smack my computer as I'm having calls like this. It's not amazing for technology, and yeah.
and then there's one sneaking
Hi, Jack.
down this.
There's my other one. Jack, come here, say hi.
Hi, buddy.
Hi, Jack.
This is Mr. John.
Well-
He's super cool.
What were you doing upstairs?
What?
What were you doing upstairs?
I was reading Epic.
Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, he was doing
You'll
some.
have to tell us about that later.
So how many books did you read?
5.
5 books? Good job, buddy.
Nice.
Good job.
We were on a call. So John, you and I missed each other, I think, by a year. What year did you graduate?
2005.
Okay. I like that you had to think about that too. That's exactly what I did. I'm like,
I know, because I go like, when did I graduate high school? When did I graduate college? How old am I? Like these, yeah.
what day is it? How much cheese did I have? Yeah, no, I get it. Because I was 2002, so we literally just missed each other. But we were on a call. We do New Year's Eve with all my girlfriends from my sorority. Yes, I was Kappa. Please don't judge. But we just started the call, and my girlfriend Holly is on there, and Holly is like, she's a middle school principal, but she's put together, and all of a sudden you see her going, I mean, just like losing it on mute. And she gets back on. She's just like, and I said, Holly, I think I read your lips. Did you say 5 more minutes? She's like, no, I said 5 more seconds. I guess she told her son to take the toilet paper upstairs. And so he starts poking holes in it like it's a bowling ball. And he's not taking it upstairs. And she's trying to get on this call. She's like, I just thought, my husband's upstairs and they should be going up to take showers, and that'll give me time to talk to my girlfriends. But no. And she said, take the whole thing upstairs. So he starts throwing it up the stairs. So then it just comes crashing back down. Throwing it again, comes crashing back down. Meanwhile, she's trying to talk to us. And then the whole thing breaks open. So there's 12 rolls of toilet paper just sitting around. And there was also a sweatshirt that he had to take upstairs. So then he spent the time gathering all 12 toilet paper rolls and the sweatshirt while she's trying to, I mean, if this is not the pandemic parenting, we all said we laugh because we get it.
Yeah. I mean, it's authentically who we have to be in this moment.
Yeah. I mean, it's, so you guys were out because you're in Powell teaching, right?
Yeah, that's right, T.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But did they, I mean, obviously they were out in March. Did you guys go back pretty immediately?
We were out for the rest of the year.
Okay.
And then in the fall, we started in August, and we've been in hybrid. So
Okay.
I'm there every day, but the kids rotate in and out, right? Different groups. So,
Yeah.
And we've been that way since school has started. And we do have like actually a large group of kids that are doing committed distance learning. So they're all online all the time. But my kids, they're rotating in and out, and that's the way we've been. And I'm happy we were able to maintain that, because it did create, even in its uncertainty, it created some normalcy.
Yeah.
But we'll see as we head into
Yeah.
the new year. Who knows? Who knows?
I know. I
Who
mean,
knows?
let's bring more fun into it, right?
Right. Yeah. Why not? The unexpected.
Uh-huh. Yeah. My husband has said if the word unprecedented is said one more time, he's going to lose it. Like,
Well, I was in line to get my driver's license renewed, and one lady behind me said, well, we're all in this together. And the lady in front of me said, if I hear that phrase one more damn time. And I was like, oh, I'm in the middle of the two of you.
Ladies,
great.
please.
I know. It's like, oh, this is going to be so fun.
I mean, why not end this year breaking up a fight between women, right?
And a driver's license renewal.
And the BMV, yeah.
BMV, yeah. It's great.
Good times. Good times. My husband has to get his soon, and he was like, can I wear a mask when I get my picture? I'm like, no. But you want to remember that for the next 4 years. Like,
well, they almost didn't give me a chance to take it off. Like I had it on and I sat in the seat, and then she was like, ready? Okay. And I was like, wait. And she was like, oh wait, my computer's broken. Hold on. And I was like, she's like, okay, go. So we'll see.
there was one year my granddad had to get his picture retaken, and the lady said, can you tilt up a little bit because there's a glare coming from your glasses? So his license picture was literally like which I'm kind of tempted to do myself. Poor granddad. I don't think he should have been driving then anyway, but we'll look past that point. So Jon, you're a celeb. You were teacher of the year. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's a thing that has happened in my life and keeps happening, which is which is great.
That's amazing. I mean, how did how does something like that happen? Did you get nominated by somebody then?
Yeah. So what I've learned is every state is completely different. So for Ohio, for the Ohio Teacher of the Year program, it's run through the Ohio Department of Education, and now anyone can nominate. Parents, students, administrators. And my principal actually in the middle of the day one day texted me while I was teaching, and she said like, hey, I've got a couple questions for you. And she's asking me all these things. And I was like, what are you doing? Are you nominating me for something that's going to be more work? And she wrote like LOL and put the like emoji laughing while crying. And I was like, what does that even mean? And lo and behold, she was nominating me for Teacher of the Year. And from that moment, once I got notified from the state, I had to write up some narratives about my teaching beliefs, my personal beliefs. It was more work through a panel. Yeah. And I mean, it has continued to be more work, but it's like the greatest experience of my life, really. And after all these writings, and it was read by panels, I was brought in as one of 5 finalists for the state, and they did an interview day where I basically, there was like 14 people, and they all ask a question, like around a table, and you're standing there, and I don't wear a suit very often. A tie, no, not really a part of it. And I'm standing there like sweating, or like, does this suit even fit me very well? I don't know. And I did, in the middle of the interview, I cried 2 times. Like all out cried in the middle of the interview, because it was one of those things where it was like the amount of stress paired with the fact that they're asking you about, you know, something that you're so passionate about, which is teaching. And I mean, there were twice where I just like all out started to cry in the middle of the interview. And I was like, well, this wasn't staged. This is just who I am. So I am emotional. Now you all know it. So, and then after that, I was named the Ohio Teacher of the Year, and I knew, but no one at my school did. So, except my principal. So there was a day where everyone was called down for a character education assembly, and there were all these people in suits, and there was like a camera crew, and like these big potted plants, and everyone's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And then it's like, it's not necessarily character education. It's a Teacher of the Year ceremony. So all the kids and teachers got to be there, which was really cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah.
Did you start teaching right out of college then?
Yeah. So I graduated from Otterbein, and
best school ever.
Best school ever. I actually accepted a position in my district, Olin-Tangi Schools, as a part-time traveling art teacher. was my first, like,
Wow.
and meant that there were so many kids at each school that they needed someone else to come in and pick up a couple classes as an art teacher. But due to the growth of our district, by the time the school year started, they needed someone full-time to travel to multiple schools on a cart, right? So that's me.
That's cart teaching. Did you have to do an internship, or not an internship? Where did you student teach?
Yeah, okay, super interesting. So yeah, because Otterbein, one of the reasons I actually chose to go to school at Otterbein was because of this unique program that they have. And I ended up doing my student teaching in Espanola, New Mexico. So even though I was a kid from Pittsburgh who went to school in Central Ohio at Otterbein, I was doing my student teaching in Espanola, New Mexico, which is outside of Santa Fe. And for about 3.5 months, I lived there, and there's actually a group of us from Otterbein that did it. And I actually lived on the campus of the school we were at. McCurdy was the school.
Okay.
And so yeah, living and teaching in the same place. It was an amazing experience.
So cool.
Yeah.
What was I mean, I'm assuming several of the kids probably spoke Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it was English was everyone's primary language at the school. But what was really unique is culture is so defined within our schools. So a huge part of New Mexican culture is weavings and the traditional craft that are made there. So their art program in the high school actually had those giant looms that you see in books and I had to help teach weaving on one of those giant looms. I still don't understand. Like, I basically be like, that looks really good. You look to be doing a great job. I like your color combinations, right? Like, so at night I'd be reading books on how to weave on a loom, and the next day we'd be doing it. But at the same point, that same room had a computer lab where we would teach videography. So it was kind of this mash of culture and time.
Yeah.
And, it was incredible. It was incredible. I really think that experience kind of helped forge the human that I've really become because of so many of the travels that I got to take while I was there. And I mean, wild independence too. So.
Oh yeah. When you were in high school, is this what you wanted to do? When did you know you wanted to be an art teacher?
Well, I grew up with two artist parents. And so both my parents are artists. So it was kind of like everyone just thought this was the family gig that you would go into art. And I remember pushing back and being like, no, I want to do anything else and anything, but I don't know what else I want to be. Right. So, and I just kept telling my parents that I didn't want to sit in an office. I didn't want to sit in a studio. I wanted to work with people. And my parents were like, well, you're a natural teacher. This is what you should do. It's like, no.
No.
So in high school, I did a couple mini visits with art teachers, trying to figure out if this is something I wanted, and it was. And so I went to Otterbein actually considering if I wanted to go into graphic design like my parents or into art education. And I mean, thankfully for me, I guess, the art education won out that battle, but I still get to do some graphic design on the side too, which is cool.
That's true. That's so, honestly, I think you and I might have shared childhood because both of my parents are performers. And I was like, I'm not going to do music. I'm not going to do that for a living. I'm going to be really something different and do acting instead, which, really, really far away from that. And they were like, you should teach. You're a natural teacher. And now I teach acting. So,
right. Well, there was a point in high school where I was like, I want to be a medical illustrator. And my parents were like, you want to do what?
What?
I was like, yeah, I want to draw the insides of people. And they're like, why? I was like, I don't know. Because I like science. Oh. So, yeah. In the end, art teaching seems to be suiting me. So,
do you still create on your own? Do you still have creative outlets that you speak after?
Yeah, and something interesting that I was doing whenever the pandemic first happened and we all went into quarantine, I realized that I was really missing the teachers that I worked with. And so what I started doing is every school day, I would paint a little 4-inch by 4-inch portrait of a different teacher in my school. And I would post them to social media saying like, this is Mrs. Swan. And this is this memory I have of her and why she's such an amazing person. And I went through, and I mean, it was really therapeutic for me at first and enjoyable. And then as we got towards the end of like the school year, I was exhausted. So, and I hadn't gotten to everybody, and don't worry, everyone took note. So I was sure after a quick break to go back and make sure that I continued painting portraits of those people at school that, you know, I care so much about. But that's just one instance. So sometimes it's like I need a goal or a plan or creating something for someone. That's really where my life is kind of spun at this moment. So yeah.
Gosh, that's and how many teachers was that?
Well, in the end, then it started turning into like, because it's a slippery slope, because when you mean teacher, do you mean educator? Right? So then I started painting pictures of my principals, our support staff, our, you know, the aides that work with our kids, because educator means so many people within a building because they all have a role in these students' lives. So yeah, I know I bit off way more than I can chew when I started, but I enjoyed it. So yeah.
What's your favorite thing that you've created?
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, it depends. Like sometimes I create really serious images and serious work, and then there's other times where it's like really super quirky. Right? Like I love making illustrations of woodland creatures, just doing like normal people things. But then in grad school, I went to the Art Academy of Cincinnati for screen printing and for art education, really interesting mix. And I created lunch boxes with like heroes that I thought my students should have on their lunch boxes. So like I'd go out and buy lunch boxes and that were blank, and I'd screen print them with like Gandhi's face or I mean, right? So, and like what was really funny is like I created some on just paper bags and would like sell them like, hey, who wants a paper bag? But we have like a stash of like legit lunch boxes in the basement where I'm like, when can I bring these up to my kids? And which one will they want or not want? Right?
Ooh, that's
I know. So,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it's like quirky stuff like that that also has meaning to it, right? Because you know, I get to see the really interesting characters on students' lunchboxes all the time, and sometimes I'm like, that's who you look up to. All right.
I remember the plastic lunchboxes from the 80s. They were bad. I mean, it would be like October and it would smell like feet. And
yes.
And
which is why I have an aversion to bring sandwiches to school, because I think mine got crushed so many times and smelled so bad in the plastic lunchbox. I'm like, it's over. I'm done.
It ruined peanut butter and jelly for me, the smashing sandwiches thing. I can't do it anymore. It tastes like smashed peanut butter and jelly to me, no matter what.
My son started insisting that he get the sandwich containers so that doesn't happen. So we got those. Problem was, he sort of kept forgetting to bring them home. So when they had to clean out their lockers, he brought home no less than 11 sandwich containers that had been sitting in his locker the entire time. And I remember, like, I remember my Care Bears lunchbox the most, the plastic 80s Care Bears lunchbox, when they were still fat and cute. Now they've got them all like, I don't know why they changed the body type on them. Like, no. You're supposed to be cuddly. But I love my mother. I don't understand why we would have milk in the thermos one day and the next day it might be soup. Because that was nasty. It was bad. So bad. Why did we do that? Uh-oh. Did we lose? Oh, there you are. We lost you for a second, but you're back.
Oh, oh, sorry. I
You're
heard.
fine.
Hopefully you can edit that out. So
We
I
edit
heard
nothing.
the thermos. You mix the soup with the milk. No!
It's disgusting. It's so gross. Yeah.
We did
But
have the
that's-
discussion with my 7-year-old the other day because she wanted this like cup with a straw from Starbucks and it was on sale. And I was like, sure, only water. And she's like, but what if I, and it's like, just water.
No.
Don't mix. Just, I don't want to scrub out this straw so many times. I just water. Just water.
I love the milk.
Oh no.
When they do milk in a fancy cup, you know what I mean? Usually it's one of my water bottles or coffee mugs. And they'll put milk in there and somehow it gets in the car and it stays. That might possibly be the worst smell I've ever experienced in my entire life. Like, why milk? Why milk? So it's, I digress.
I mean, we've gone down an interesting slippery slope, but I will say that just this morning, a sippy cup of milk was sitting on top of our little heater vent as I came up the steps. And it's like, whose idea was this? Why is it still here? And how long has it been here? And I was like, nobody drink the milk. Nobody drink the milk. Yeah. So no, this is real life.
Oh, it is. And we're not getting out of it anytime soon. We did. So you will appreciate this as parents. When you see yourself in kid form, it's frightening.
Mm-hmm.
And I now see every day myself in 9-year-old boy form. And it was to the degree that we were looking at the Myers-Briggs personality types. And we made our kids take the test, which honestly for my daughter was a really good thing because she's her own spirit. And she took the test and she goes, now finally you guys can understand why I am the way. And it was kind of cool. However, my son and I are the exact same. That's a problem. So he's very funny, but it's also hard to parent when your kid is funny. So he plays his video, to be fair, he is deaf in his left ear. He plays his video games very loudly and he has commentary for everything. Shocker, commentary for everything. And it was driving me nuts. And I went in and knocked on the door and said, turn your volume down. He doesn't miss a beat and goes, turn your volume down. I had to step away.
I mean, pre-pandemic, I was, so as part of being Ohio's Teacher of the Year, you get to meet and be a part of all the other state teachers of the year. We all meet each other. We're a part of each other's lives. Some of them have become my best friends. So I'm sitting with my friend, Corey from Minnesota, and we're talking and my wife's there, his dad's there at this event. And I was complaining about how my daughter, Josie, was hand making all of these little crowns for every kid in her class. And she's spending all this time and like wanted to write their names in a beautiful way, wanted to add their favorite colors to them, wanted to add their favorite animals. And it's like, I just wanted her to be done with the project. Why does she have to make something the individual for everyone that she loves and cares about? And I'm like complaining and I look up and they're all staring at me. And it's like, what?
Oh,
yeah. Like, John, where do you think she got it from? It was like, oh. But it's like that when that realization hits you where you're like, oh, wait. Oh, she learned it from watching me. Oh, no.
It's the old marijuana commercial. I learned it by watching you, Dad. I learned it by watching you.
Obsessive kindness. No.
Why would you do such a thing? I love that you got frozen in this position. Like, we'll wait for it. You probably can hear me, John, but you are frozen in truly
awesome.
The best possible way. I don't know. Do we lose him? Are you with us, John?
I just grabbed a screenshot of it, so we're good there.
Oh, good. Good. I apologize for continuously, my earbuds keep falling out. I'm not sure what's happening. They're like slippy slidey today. So you're on mute.
I'm
John,
back.
you're with us. Okay.
Okay.
We lost
I'm so
you.
sorry. Yeah.
That's
Okay. So
okay.
what's also interesting is, and we're not sure what's going on, but at the end of our street, oh no, am I still here?
A little in and out.
Oh no, it looks like I'm still here. Okay,
Yeah.
weird. There was a power thing on our street. So like some people have lost power, some people haven't. So like I keep waiting. I'm like, is that gonna affect me? Is my internet still work? I don't know. So it's spotty. Sorry about that.
Okay. No, you're
Can
fine.
you hear me?
We
Okay.
can. And we will send you the excellent screenshot of you frozen because it was great.
But that's anytime someone tries to take a screenshot of me, it's because I don't stop moving my face. I don't know how.
I understand.
So-
I completely get it. Ben and I have been working together for so many years on video and commercials and things. And he's always really good at sending me the worst possible freeze frame shots of me. It keeps me humble. I think one of my favorites was in the middle of something. I was looking at my phone and I did not realize that I do that. I don't ever recall doing that, but there is a screenshot of me doing so. So forever in time.
I mean, I'm part Muppet, right? It's so like I can't really control what happens on my face, and everyone always knows exactly what I'm thinking. So I mean, here it is.
I feel like that's a positive. Yeah, here's me.
This is me.
Which Muppet are you?
Well, I have friends that equate me to Kermit,
Okay.
and there's some Kermitness in here, but yeah, definitely just Muppet in general.
In general.
It's in our bloodline, so yeah.
Okay, I get it. I don't know that I've never thought about that question. Ben, which Muppet would you be?
I think the answer is pretty easy there. I'm Swedish Chef for sure. Would you
Oh,
like
that's
to see
true.
a photo?
Yeah, put your picture up.
I love these, and it'll be right here.
I know. Oh, one moment, please. I don't know what I would be. I think I saw something according to your, I cannot do words today. I'm so sorry. Your astronomy sign. What's the?
Here we go.
Oh, there's Ben.
That was me this Halloween. So yeah.
That is excellent, Ben.
Thank you.
I have no idea how you're going to turn any of what we're doing here into a podcast, but I am thrilled.
This is the show, man.
Well, I never really explained this very well, John, but it's like, this is the podcast.
Yes.
You know, you said everybody that doesn't know the format is like, okay, what can I prepare? I'm like, nothing. Just show up.
Are you going to edit anything out? Nope.
No. And that was
Nope.
one of our first guests was the wonderful Ann Fisher, and she was just perplexed. She's
Almost
like, wait,
horrified. Yeah, like
Yeah.
what? You don't edit anything? No, leave it all in.
So even for when I froze and disappeared, and it's all there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's all there.
Oh,
it's
good.
all in.
Yeah,
oh,
that's great.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's only been a couple times we had to edit certain things where people specifically said, can you take this part out? My mother being one of them.
Oh,
there's-
moms.
Mom, ma. And we always start when we did the podcast in person, which I hope this year we can get back to being able to do that again. But we would just start the conversation and nobody knew when Ben was going to hit record. So typically we were midway through. So I would say what, Ben, about 80% of the guests at some point during the podcast be like, wait, you're recording already? What did I say?
Did we start?
That's
When are we
awesome.
Starting. Yeah, and we're like, oh, we've been running for about
We've
20
been
minutes
going.
now. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh, what have I said?
That's
What have you
perfect.
said?
Because then it's like, it is what it is. It's life. It's messy. It's truth, right? Yeah, that's awesome.
Right. Well, and we've always wanted it to feel less interviewee and more conversational, because those are the things we like to listen to, you know?
Yep.
So I'm also going to apologize. I had a lot of coffee this morning, so I'm not sitting still very well. I don't know what it is. I'm like,
I don't sit still very well ever. So, I mean, I just thought it was normal. So, yeah.
Oh, so we're good. We're good then. Oh, that's fine. Tell me about your Otterbein days. What were you? I mean, obviously you were an art major. Were you education and art?
Yeah, and that's the way that Otterbein worked and still works. Because I'm been back there in an adjunct role, teaching the art education classes, which has been really cool being on the other side and trying to give back to those students, what I got from Otterbein. But yeah, I was an art and education major, and then I had minors in art history and culture and language of the deaf community.
My gosh.
American Sign Language was kind of like the central part of that, but there was more classes to take as well. I was the kid that was born for a liberal arts degree where it was like, what else can I take? A geology class where we go to Death Valley for spring break? I'm here for it. Let's do it. Right. So I thoroughly gobbled up every opportunity that I could have. It was amazing.
Wow.
And I was on the cross country and track teams and was not the most stellar athlete, but I was determined, which has led to, I continue to run marathons and trail marathons and coached myself as I became a teacher. So.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I have to ask, who was the geology professor that you went on the spring break trip with? Was it the real
Hal Lazinski?
Yes. I had to take, oh my gosh. Do you remember the stupid IS classes? I say stupid because I hated them. The ones you had to take for credits. And you get to the end of like senior year and it's like, you have 2 credits left. There are no classes open on your schedule. And so I ended up in a geology class for majors, for geology majors. There were 4 people in the class. And it was not a great experience to begin with. I say there were 4 people, but there was one dude that just never came. So I don't think he was really, And then we had class, I think 3 days a week or 2 days a week, and then a 3-hour lab on Fridays. I'm like, I am a theater major, people. But he was very kind to me. But I do remember the first day he's looking at the roster and he's like, okay, Krista Lively, so you're a theater major, huh? So that means you hate science. I was like, no, science is okay. I hate math though. He goes, okay. And I mean, he was good about it. But I will say the only reason I passed the class was the other 2 lovely ladies in there were so very helpful. They just walked me through everything. But that was one of the hardest classes.
That's what this course was. It was instead of one of those IS classes, those integrative studies classes. And one of my roommates was an earth science major. And he's like, I'm going to take this class. The 3 other roommates at the time, because we lived in a house of 8 people. He's like, you should take it too. He's like, take it too. And it was like, okay. And my parents were like, that's going to bring down your GPA. You're not going to do very well in that class. It's like, au contraire. I will get an A in this class. I am going to get the best grade in this. I mean, I did really well. So, and then we got to, and he was, again, very understanding. And, but it's super interesting because the things I learned in that class, my own 3-year-old loves The Floor is Lava. Like, the game of it, the show on TV. We actually had to get rid of some furniture during the pandemic because like rocking chairs, anything that rocks was a bad idea. But I have some students. I have some students now in class because we're in this hybrid way that they started playing The Floor is Lava during their art class. So like it will get to a point where they'll all pick up their legs and then we will all just move around the room by stepping on other things. It is a group of 4th graders from like, how could you be any more cool? Well, from that class, the one day I was like, well, there's 2 different types of lava. And they're like, what? It's like, there's pahoihoi and And they're like, what? That's not real. I was like, I learned it from Hal Lazinski. It's real.
It's real.
We Googled it to verify it. I was correct. Well, I still remember that. Yeah.
He was so smart. I mean, I just remember thinking, you know your stuff. And I will say I did pretty well in that class, again, in thanks mostly to the two lovely women that were in there with me. But the worst grade I got in college was from a dance class, a dance gym class. But because it was sophomore year, 8 o'clock in the morning in winter quarter, and I just didn't go that often. And what made me so mad was that there were people in that class that were dance majors. It's like, I'm sorry. This is a class for people like this that don't dance that well. And here you are pirouetting like magic across the floor. Get out of this class. And it was embarrassing. I was angry. I didn't like the gym classes very much.
Well, there was a gym class I took in college called New Games. And New Games was essentially 4th grade PE class for college students. There were scooters, there was dodgeball, there was relay races, and I was like, am I paying for this class?
It's like a quarter-long field day.
Yes. I mean, I don't remember if there's parachute, but now in my edited memory, there will be a parachute. So
absolutely. No, I like that.
Next time I tell this story, there's a parachute.
Oh yeah. I loved the parachute days. That was just, for somebody who's not very athletic, parachute was just like a gentle, calm, okay, I do fit in. You know, it's.
I kind of wish I could do that as an adult, to be honest with you.
We should do it. You know what?
You can get one from Amazon, invite the neighbors. You'll still be 6 feet apart.
Yeah. You know what? When COVID is over and everybody's vaccinated, I will host parachute parties at my studio, and we'll just invite people in. And I figure you could charge a couple bucks a head and probably make a little bit of money on it, you know. And all you do is just flap the parachute around. So.
Well, you can put balls on top. That sounds.
Yeah. Just
when you run under it,
balls on it. So yeah.
just put some balls on it. That's
an option.
Yeah.
That should be a t-shirt.
Balls.
Just put some balls on it. End quote, Krista Stauffer.
I don't really want my name attached to that. Can we not? I mean, I've said a lot.
Already screen printing them right now.
Stop it! What would your t-shirt say? If you made, what would your life quote be?
I have a a couple years ago, I was asked, what quote defines your life, right? And you're like, what? Like, how? Like right now, like you just asked me that. If I hadn't had one stored in there, I'd be like, I have no, I don't know. So this is going to get really deep and serious now, as opposed to the t-shirts we were printing. So I grew up with a grandmother who was blind, and then my interest in American Sign Language and the culture of the deaf community. I have always admired Helen Keller. And so there's a quote attributed to her that I just think sums up my life and my purpose. And the quote is, "I long to accomplish a great and noble task, but it is my chief duty to accomplish small tasks as if they're great and noble." So this idea that you're like, we all want to do something huge. We all want to make like a big splash and do something. But sometimes it's just in those small everyday moments where we can make a difference for other people. And if we greet those exciting, everyday moments in a way that is exciting, other people join along. Tonight is New Year's Eve, right? We're gonna have a in-house party with my kids and these, what we call the party squirrels. They are a set of stuffed squirrels that attend every birthday party that my daughter has ever had. They're like, they have little hats I hot glued to them. So they're coming out tonight. We're gonna eat party foods, right? Yeah. And it'll be one of those things where it's like, my kids don't remember certain holidays, but I can assure you they're gonna remember the New Year's Eve that we were all stuck at home together and brought out the squirrels, right? So like, it's even in those small moments that we provide for kids and for each other, that we can make things feel big. So.
Wow. No wonder you're teacher of the year.
Squirrels.
We have a dog that is obsessed with chasing squirrels. And I don't know where it came out one day, but it was just like, "What's up, squirrel friend?" And so we just called them squirrel friends all over the place. So you're bringing out the squirrel friends tonight. That'll be awesome.
the real squirrels that live in our backyard all have names and backstories. But the ones that live in the house that live in the basement and only come out for parties, those are just party animals. So,
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you've got to distinguish between the two. I quite frankly don't know that I want the squirrels from my backyard inside my house.
Mr. Peanuts, as a squirrel that lives in the backyard, notice how I enunciate his name.
Peanuts.
He has tried to come into the house. And when I was sitting on our front porch in like early fall, he would come sit on the porch with me and look at me. And I was like, I like squirrels. It's actually become my favorite animal. I don't want you to come sit on this bench with me. Like, this is not, I'm walking away. I'm walking away. So, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Because of our animals, I always look gesture towards where they are. So they're upstairs as of now. But because they don't come in our yard very often because of the chase. And we got not the best choice in the world, but we got a COVID puppy. She was born in 2020 and she certainly acts like it. It's not that she's dumb. She's very smart, but there's moments, and she is obsessed with our older dog, loves her. She just loves. And she's just, think of, do you remember SNL when Mike Myers played the kid that was so ADHD? He's like, my mommy gave me a chocolate bar once, and then she tied me to the front of the car, and I drove the car home. So that's our dog. Super happy,
yes.
Super loving. So Lottie, the older one, will go outside after a squirrel, and Persephone runs after her like, having no idea what she's barking at because she doesn't see the squirrels. She doesn't look for the squirrels. She's just like barking because Lottie's barking. That's one of those moments like, are you smart?
Well, and we have a 15-year-old Jack Russell. Aww. So he still has his bark. Doesn't really have his energy. Yeah. So whenever the squirrels are in their backyard now, it's like they look at the dog and they're like, man, let's just coexist out here. We'll be fine, right? Like, it's not big. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. Well, if you're in Clintonville, you probably have like tons of squirrels.
Yeah. Well, and we used to have a black walnut tree in our backyard. Used to, as in we got rid of it a couple months ago. Every time things would fall, they'd hit the roof, and we're like, is now when we need a new roof? I don't know.
Yeah.
But you could tell the squirrels were none too happy when we got rid of that tree, because that's like food source, a home. But we're like, listen to me, like I'm outside, like, squirrels of Clintonville, we apologize to you today. I would like to point you to the squirrel picnic table that I made while we were stuck at home and quarantined. Please help yourself to the peanuts and cashews I have left out for you.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
Did they take it? I mean.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Like this, like the little picnic table, we like drilled it into the tree, and it's like they would sit up on the table, not so much on the bench, but we'll get there. They'll learn manners. But yeah, they'll sit up there and eat it. And that's why this Mr. Peanuts character became so interested in us, because he's like, oh, food? Does it come from inside there? Can I just help myself? No. Also, stay out of our garage.
Yeah.
So we've
there
done
was
it
a
to ourselves.
There was a podcast. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Every Little Thing. Maybe that's a book. I don't know. But people can call in with the most random questions. And this woman was talking about the squirrels in her backyard. And do they know? Because she's like, I've just been watching them, obviously pandemic time. But she asked, do they know where they bury the nuts? And they do. They do. Yeah.
Because they're always digging up the whole yard. So they must really have a lot of those walnuts buried down there still.
Very smart. And I mean, this show goes into like immense detail. There was another very clever episode where somebody was saying, my husband is chastising me for being polite to Alexa. And he said, you don't have to be polite. But no, you do.
Oh, I am super polite to her. I say please and thank you, and everyone else in the family makes fun of me. But I say that when all the robots in our house take over, they're gonna still be okay with me.
They will.
That's at least my thoughts.
We go back and forth. I think the problem has been once Christmas is done, I get back into like, what are my happy music places? So we've been listening to a lot of 90s alt rock and pop. But whenever not Bohemian Rhapsody, Bittersweet Symphony comes on, I hate that song. I hate that song with a passion. And I hate it even talking about it because all I can hear is the strings starting up, even in my head. So every time that comes on, I can't be polite to Alexa. It's just like, Alexa, switch it now, switch it. And that's the time that I'm not kind to her, but I just can't deal with that song. I just can't.
I will say that the other robots in our house, the Roomba, whose name is Romulus, by the way, I do not like, I run from it. I don't want it near me. I don't want it to touch me. It's like, I feel like I just don't. I just don't want it near me. Because once it touched my foot while I was sitting at the dining room table, it's like, it's over. We're done. I no longer have a relationship with you, Romulus. We can coexist in this house, but like, we're not going to interact. No. I will try to save you when you get stuck under the bed, but like, that's it. Like, yeah. So.
Because it's just kind of roams.
Like.
No, we're all the same. I mean, that's why. What is the Roomba? I mean, does it create a pattern? How does it figure out where to go? We don't have one, so I don't understand it.
Sometimes it like makes a circle and it'll like do this little spiral, and it was like, wow, look at you. And other times it's like, meh, 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 and it like runs into the wall, the refrigerator. It'll totally avoid a room. And I was like, come now. Do you just know that room is dirty with dog hair? Like, get in there.
Yeah.
So I don't really know. I don't really like to engage with it.
No, that's fine. Did you ever read the story about the time the dog pooped on the floor and the Roomba got it and dragged it all around the house?
No, thanks.
No. I think that's kind of why I don't really know.
I'm not here for that.
No. I like that you say all the robots in your house. How many more robots do you have?
Well, no. I mean, it's really like when you start thinking about it, it's like, well, there's the phone, which is like, in essence, it's robot. The Romulus, the Roomba, the Alexa lady. Then there's one upstairs and one downstairs in our house because we got one as a gift, right? So the other day I was downstairs and the upstairs one heard me and I was like, no, not you. Wait, where am I? Why is everyone talking to me? So you never know. I mean,
I know. or when you're thinking about like, I could really use a pencil sharpener, and then suddenly you're getting ads for pencil sharp. I'm probably going to get that now. You don't really say it to anybody, but why, how? I mean, and it makes you think about, maybe I shouldn't think about anything at all, because all you do is mention something and it comes up. And I honestly, I'm sure you figured this out, I think of a lot of really dumb things. So I think what's going to happen is the band that sang Bittersweet Symphony is going to somehow show up on my Facebook wall today.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
I'm not okay with that. What's your hated song? Do you have a song that you hate?
Oh gosh. I don't know if I have a song that I hate. I'm sure in my mind later I'll be like, oh, I do.
There it is. You'll have to, yeah.
But there's even songs that like I would not ever choose to listen to. When they'll like pop up on the radio in the car, I'll be like all in, right? Like all in for this one time this song is gonna play. I remember the one time, oh my gosh, is it Tub Thumping? What is that song? Like,
I get knocked out,
right? Yeah. It is just like such a bizarre song. And the one time it came in the car, my kids were in the car and I was like, we're all in. We're rocking out to this song in this moment, and we're never going to listen to the song again, I'm certain. So.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Oh.
There was my friend Mike,
A good choice,
Mike Kirsch.
Krista.
Thank you. No, because it takes me back to Charlotte's Web at Otterbein, and when you do shows, you do what they call 10 of 12s.
I don't remember
It's a
that
12-hour
song.
day. It's not in there. But no, it's actually not. But Mike and I, because you're so tired, because you do it 2 days in a row. So 12 hours of a lot of standing and waiting. And we were so like loopy tired. We were laying on the floor in Cowan Hall under a blanket. We started singing that song, but he was singing it in this different voice and changing the words, saying, I get knocked down, but I get up again. And everything's going to be okay. Because the song made no sense anyway. And then I think it's either that one, I think they had another hit, and I cannot think of the title of it. But there's an entire segment at the end of the song where this British woman is talking about how to do like cutting a head open and removing a brain. I'm not sure. I'll have to look that one up.
That's not anything that I've ever.
I'll
I
find
don't know
it.
that I've heard that one. Okay.
Yeah. I think I was on a treadmill running when that came on. And then I'm just like,
right now.
it's not Tub Thumping. It's another hit. I don't even know if it was a hit.
It was another one of their great classic hits that everyone should know.
There's some good one-hit wonders out there. There really are. And then you hear their other stuff and you're like, wow, I see now why you're a one-hit wonder.
No.
It's got to be hard.
The entry on Wikipedia is surprisingly generous and thorough. Let's see.
Oh.
Enough is an.
No.
Okay, so there.
I can hear it.
Song Tub Thumping. Let's see. Other singles include Amnesia. Enough is enough.
That's it. Amnesia.
Amnesia. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you'd have amnesia if someone cut your head open and took your brain out, right?
Yeah,
So
it's very.
Or if you
I
listen
wouldn't
to a lot of
know.
Chumbawamba, but I don't know.
Where does the name Chumbawamba come from? Because it sounds
Would
like.
you like to know? Because I've got the Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Hold on,
because
Yeah.
the more you know. Tell us more.
Bum, bum, bum. Does it say?
Huh.
Hi, Polly.
No, it doesn't
No.
say.
Not that I can see. It says English rock band formed in 1982, which is really surprising.
Wow.
As well, and disbanded in 2012, which is a good run.
That is a good run.
That is a good run.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing anything. I'll keep reading through here, but
Yeah.
They've got a lot of social causes that they follow and that sort of thing. Wow, there's a lot more to Chumbawamba than I thought. I take back what I said about Chumbawamba.
I forgot that their name was the Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba. Yeah.
And I was like, that song where you get knocked down and then get back up, right?
Yeah. And whiskey drinks and vodka drinks and lager drinks, cider drinks. He sings the songs that remind him of the good time. He sings the song. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I think it's a
There
great
it
song.
is. It's going to be in my head all day long.
I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
I actually have my least favorite song in my head. So yeah, it's done. However, this is the fun thing about social media sometimes is that there are certain people that get triggered in a positive way. And one of those is my sister, because she's also a music person and we share a little bit of a brain. And yesterday I had a song from the 1970s Pete's Dragon in my head. I don't know if you ever saw that one. It's good.
Yeah.
It makes me cry. But I had just the portion, we got a bill of sale right here. And it just kept running through. And so I posted it and it worked because my sister only responded, thanks a lot. Yes, I did it.
So, okay. So,
We
there
have
is
Putting back.
the name comes from a dream that one of the band members had. Chumba is Brit slang for men's room, and Wamba is slang for a women's room. In the dream that he had, the band member went to the rear of a club and there was only one red door that read Chumbawamba.
Wow. So it's literally a unisex bathroom.
Yeah.
So their name means unisex bathroom. Okay.
There you are.
How progressive.
But now I have more questions.
Especially from
I'm gonna have to read.
1982 as well. That's very progressive. I think, I don't know.
It
Maybe
is.
in 1982 that was viewed as like a unisex bathroom. I don't know. Maybe that was a lot more unusual at that point, but I don't know. There you are.
Huh.
I mean, we have them at our houses, so I don't really know.
Yeah.
But it was a red door.
A red door. There's some significance within that. There's got to be.
Well, I know what I'm going to be thinking about the rest of the day.
You know,
so that's cool.
I'm glad that we got that topic out of the way because I was concerned that we weren't going to cover Chumbawamba during our podcast time together, John. So I'm glad.
You know, now that we've kind of enlightened ourselves about Chumbawamba, maybe we'll get them as a guest on the show, unlike Heather Graham,
We should.
who will never come on the show.
Heather Graham's never coming on the show.
She'll never.
I've insulted her far too often.
Wow.
So sorry,
You hold
Heather.
grudges. Yeah.
Does she?
I don't know. Probably. I would.
Chumbawamba, on the
If I
other
were
hand.
Heather Graham.
I mean,
She would
Chumbawamba did break up in 2012, we just learned. But maybe they could do a reunion here.
About
Here,
time.
yeah.
You know, give it another
time.
2 years or so, and I think you could pull off a Chumbawamba reunion. It's been 10 years, you know,
Yeah.
and maybe.
I didn't know this was my dream, but I guess it is now.
Right? See, this is why we do the podcast. I mean, it's, informative, enlightening, and it enables what we want for the future. So this is why we're here, John. So thank you. This has been so much fun. We could probably go on the most random topics for like 80 hours, but I do have to go back to being a parent here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately, it's great. I love them, but
yeah, it's
we're
so
stuck
great. Love it.
at home. You are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. We're probably going to need to have you
this
come
is
on
fun.
again.
I know. I feel like there's so many more things to talk about. We'll just have to do it again next time. It'll be fine.
We will. And next time I want to do this in person so we can have our random conversation happen in the studio.
In person at his studio and his because that would be pretty sweet.
Do we have space for that?
We do.
You get
I mean,
vaccinated. Who cares? We'll make this.
yeah,
work.
if we're all vaccinated, it's fine. If not, then one person could be in this corner, one person this corner, and the other person could be in the alley. I mean, it's fine.
There we go. And we'll just watch for the squirrels.
I
Make
feel
sure
like
that
I'm
they're-
kind of in the alley of the episodes anyway, so that might be a good thing for me.
I will tell you that.
Ben.
I will tell you for a
I
short.
lurk in the background and chime in with dumb comments. That's my thing.
No, you enlightened us today. This was.
Hey, Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah.
May we
I never
all
thought we'd-
Chumbawamba, indeed.
Let's Chumbawamba in 2021. I hope that everyone can
Hey, you know
solidly
what? This year,
Chumbawamba.
we got knocked down. Next
But we'll
year,
get up again.
we get up again.
Yeah.
That is
So
so
tonight-
beautiful.
That really
Mhm.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Have tonight, somebody can have a whiskey drink or a vodka drink or a lager drink or a cider drink and sing the songs that remind them of the good times and sing the songs that remind them of the better times.
And then
Like Danny
piss the
Boy.
night away. Pissing the night away.
That one took a little bit of time because I thought she was like urinating until I realized like, wow. Now I know.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like that's a lot of urine. That's a lot. I mean, I guess if you're drinking that much, yeah, that would be a lot of urine.
If it's
But-
British, though, I imagine they're saying drinking the night away instead of pissing.
Yeah,
the
it
night
is.
away. Yeah, so
Yes, but when I first heard it, because that was high school, I think. Didn't that come out when we were in high school?
yes. Well, yeah. In high school, we didn't know it. The British.
We didn't know what
pissing meant. Yes.
pissing.
Well,
It was just
we were mendicants at that point. Nothing. Nobodies. Fools.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh. Okay, next time, John, next time you come on, we're gonna have like 90s music interpretations.
Let's just do a 90s music podcast with the three of
Oh my
us.
God.
Just
Which-
remembering things from the 90s.
And I'm
Yeah.
not the one to bring on for that because I'd be like, I don't actually know this song. I don't know what we're maybe. Yeah.
But we would get you
But
there.
that could
I mean,
be even fun. That could be fun.
look where we just journeyed. I mean, you said, what was that song that was like, I get knocked down? And now we've gone on about Chumbawamba for like 10 minutes.
I know.
That's how this works.
And it's empowered us to go into the new year getting back up again. So
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely.
I know I'll be
John, you're-
playing it on one of our robots in the house tonight. So yeah.
Probably not the Roomba, but maybe on one of the
No.
other ones. You
Yes.
know, stay away. So in 2021, stay away from the Roomba, keep feeding those squirrels. And hopefully this year we'll have you in studio for more random conversation. This has been so fun.
Sounds great.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We
Yes, thank
appreciate
you
it.
so much.
Oh, absolutely. If you like what you hear, this is Speak Easily with Krista Stoffer. I mean, if you've gotten through this much of the podcast, hopefully you know that by now. But we are on SoundCloud,
What is this?
iTunes.
What are we listening to? Who? What's happening
Sorry,
here?
what?
Who?
Why is this girl still talking? She's annoying. But we are on YouTube as well, so you can visually see the magic of the Speak
With
Easily
your eyeballs
podcast.
and everything. It's good times.
What do my your eyeballs and ear holes? That's
Eyeballs
one of
and
my
ear
favorite
holes.
things.
Yep.
I love that statement. That's on your t-shirt.
I'll put it on a t-shirt. too.
I think you should, because I don't like mine. Put some balls on it. Let's
Put
not.
some balls on it.
Some balls on it. Anyway, Happy New Year. Thanks for celebrating another year with us. We are going into year 3 of the podcast, which is super cool. So keep listening. Yeah,
Watch
I
out
don't have
for
anything
bath
more to
salt
say.
zombies. And yeah,
Sounds good.
we'll see you on the flip side.
Thanks so much. John, you're amazing.
Thank you. This is fun.
Happy New Year.
You
We'll
too.
talk soon.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Boxland Media. Think big.